Hi, I'm Dr. Sunny Sky Hughes, and at the end of this video, I hope to have convinced you to press record on your own device and take a trial run, a first draft, if you will, in recording your first speech for our class. Now, I know that public speaking online can be very unusual and difficult for many students, whereas in a traditional classroom, we give speeches on speech dates. With online education, you have the added challenge of procrastination. So often I find for students the most helpful step is to record something. Remember, only you can see this, and you don't have to share it with the class until you're ready for us to see it. Online public speaking is fantastic. It allows you to work at your own pace, which can be a lot more helpful for students who are working parents, single parents, people who are in the military who might be called up on orders, or people who are having health issues. I found in my own experience that public speaking online can help you become a better speaker for Skype communications, for job interviews, for recording instructional tutorials to share with colleagues or fellow classmates. I'm quickly going to tell you a little bit more about myself, and then I'm going to talk to you very briefly about public speaking in general. So I was born and raised on the Gulf Coast of Texas, and when I graduated high school, I attended Texas A&M University. I graduated as an Aggie with my degree in 1997 and immediately went to work in public television and radio. I would go on to later work in commercial television as a news producer before taking some time off to raise my sons. In 2002, I returned to graduate school at the University of Florida and completed my master's degree in telecommunications and my doctorate degree in mass communications. Now, after that, I spent quite a bit of time teaching digital journalism for students who wanted to be television reporters and anchors. But I've eventually come back full circle to public speaking, a class I first taught for the University of Florida Dial Center in 2004. I enjoy teaching public speaking because whereas when I'm training newscasters, that's a specialized audience, I like training students, the general public, to be better speakers and be able to master those verbal communication skills in order to put their best foot forward professionally. Now, in my first speech that I require of you, I ask you to talk about attitudes about public speaking. And I think that's a great place to start because public speaking is consistently ranked as people's top fear. If you look it up on the internet, it's ranked ahead of death, spiders, bugs. And it's something that we all share. You'll notice this in the intros to the class by your fellow students. Almost everyone is nervous. Almost everyone has anxiety. The other side of that coin, though, is no matter how much we're all afraid and anxious, public speaking is consistently ranked as one of the most important skills that employers look for in future hires. Forbes ranked it number 3 in 2015. Most students coming into this course are taking it because they have to. And if you're transferring to UF, you'll be happy to know that this usually can transfer to UF. But it's been a rare student that ever tells me they are taking public speaking because they thought it would be fun. Most people take it because it's required. So know that about your classmates, that they are in the same boat as you are in. Everyone says they hate public speaking, and that fear can be paralyzing. Now, how does our course help you in that way? Well, the idea behind our course is you're going to engage in preparation and practice. So many students are worried about recording that first speech. Remember I mentioned it? You're going to record it at the end when my video finishes. And what you should understand is that a very small fraction of your overall course grade comes from these speech presentations. A lot more work comes from analyzing your audience, from planning your main points, from researching credible sources that you can incorporate as supporting evidence in your speech. So if you're a little bit worried about the actual speech part, that's normal. But you should know that most of the hard work is done before you ever press that record button. Now, the other part of our class that's really important to understand is that we are all about self-feedback and peer feedback. For every speech that you complete, you're going to evaluate yourself. and then you'll evaluate 3 classmates. This tends to work really well because one of the goals of being a good public speaker is being able to adapt to your audience's needs. So we talked about these attitudes in public speaking and how that can be a problem. And now the solution, our online course, where you can prepare and practice and gain confidence as a speaker. Let's look ahead. Our class ends on August 9th. So imagine the day of August 9th coming. One path is that you've completed all 5 of the graded speeches in our course and you're a stronger public speaker who's learned to specialize your ideas for your audience. Or scenario 2, you might have to take it again in a traditional classroom where you have to show up for speech dates. What do you want to happen? The biggest choice that you have to make is whether you will procrastinate or not. So again, just pressing record and watching yourself record a video will be really helpful for you to gauge where you're at. Now it's your turn. Are you ready? This video is going to end, and when it does, I want you to hit record. While I'm finishing up, take out a note card, and I want you to write down at the top of it your topic, which is to introduce yourself as a public speaker to your classmates. You then will have 3 main points. What are your attitudes about public speaking? What are your strengths as a speaker? Give us some examples from your past. And what are some areas you'd like to improve upon in your public speaking during this class? Now remember, you might not have all the subpoints and supporting materials ready at this point, but it'll give you a good idea to sketch out your ideas and know how long your video is. Remember, all videos in our class will be 5-minute speeches. There's a grace period, so they need to fall between 4 minutes and 45 seconds and 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Now, I promised you to tell you more about me during this speech, and I'd like to do that now. As a public speaking instructor at Santa Fe, I have encountered so many wonderful students from so many walks of life, and I have to say that teaching at Santa Fe College is my favorite job that I've ever had. In my personal life, I live in Northeast Gainesville with my husband and teenagers and my dogs, which you will see in our videos from time to time. And in my free time, I enjoy gardening and making copper jewelry. I also serve on the executive board of the Acrosstown Repertory Theater and run the youth troupe for teenagers involved in acting. If you'd like to know anything else, please go to the Problem Solving Forum and let me know about any difficulties you're having or any information that's not clear. Until next time, enjoy your week. Ready? When I stop, you begin your recording. 3, 2, 1.